Tonight, a deadly mauling at the San Francisco Zoo. A Siberian tiger gets loose, killing a visitor and severely injuring 2 others. And there are serious questions for the zoo that lost control of the tiger. I'm Russ Mitchell. Also tonight, last-minute selling by the presidential campaigns. With just 8 days remaining until the first real votes are counted. A promising new drug that can help you stop smoking. But there's a concern it might lead to suicidal thoughts.
You really think it was the drug that made you try to kill yourself?
I honestly do.
And a taste of home for thousands of U.S. troops in the war zone.
Sometimes they don't get the message that we care about them, and we do.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
And good evening. Katie is off tonight. Experts say it had never happened before at a major zoo in this country. A wild animal getting loose and killing a visitor. But it did happen last night in San Francisco. 1 man is dead, 2 others seriously injured by a Siberian tiger. Now the zoo is considered a crime scene, and the zookeepers face serious questions. John Blackstone is there with the latest. Good evening, John.
Hello, Russ. Well, the San Francisco Zoo remains closed today. Officials here are still trying to figure out how this 350-pound Siberian tiger managed to escape and start hunting and killing. It was just before the zoo closed that emergency crews were called out on a frightening mission. As darkness fell, a tiger was on the loose. 3 zoo visitors had been attacked. The 17-year-old Carlos Sousa was killed. 2 brothers, 19 and 23, were taken to the hospital emergency room, slashed and bitten.
This is a wild animal and focus on being wild, and I think it was a combination of claw and tooth attack.
The 4-year-old tiger named Tatiana was not kept behind bars or glass. The wild cat enclosure at the San Francisco Zoo uses a wide moat and 20-foot-high walls to separate animals and people. Zoo officials say the tiger may have managed what's supposed to be impossible: climb or jump far enough to escape. It was right outside the exhibit that the tiger attacked and killed the 17-year-old. Then it moved through the zoo some 300 yards. Outside a cafe, it attacked the 2 others. It was there police officers caught up. Zoo neighbors heard the shots.
At the point in time when the officer shot, the tiger made an aggressive move towards the officers, and the officers had just discovered a body on the grounds.
Some wonder if the tiger was being taunted.
Do I think that this was a premeditated thing on a tiger's part? No. Tigers don't premeditate things. Tigers respond to a stimuli.
In the wild, Siberian tigers are skillful hunters, but they are critically endangered. Only about 500 are thought still to be living in the wild in northern Asia. That makes captive breeding programs in zoos important, and in captivity, the big cats are crowd pleasers, but always potentially dangerous.
They're wild animals, and people think they get out, they go wild. Well, they don't. They are wild.
The tiger that attacked in San Francisco mauled one of its keepers just 1 year ago, ripping flesh from her arm during a public feeding session. The zoo stopped the public feedings for a few months and made changes to the enclosure. It didn't blame the tiger.
The tiger was acting like a normal tiger does.
The public feeding has since resumed. It's a crowd pleaser, but it amounts to inciting the animal, says one zoo critic.
This public feeding spectacle exacerbates the problem and creates an animal that really is hostile to the keeper and to the public.
The police investigation here is looking at whether those who were attacked or someone else did something to cause the tiger to escape. The Big Cat House will remain closed until there are some answers. Russ?
John Blackstone in San Francisco. Thank you very much. And now to politics. All the presidential candidates are back on the campaign trail after a 2-day break for Christmas. In Iowa, voters use the holiday to think over the decisions they'll make in just 8 days. Our correspondents are tracking the latest developments there. We begin with Jim Axelrod, who is following a candidate who just a short time ago seemed very confident, but not so much anymore. Jim?
That's right, Russ. A more cautious Hillary Clinton campaign is now carefully avoiding positioning Iowa as make or break, not wanting to set up expectations that can't be met. Several key advisors now say Hillary Clinton could survive a second, even a third-place finish here.
Senator Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton's final push in Iowa started with her husband framing her pitch.
She has always been someone who took the lead in changing other people's lives for the better.
Knowing there's a hunger for change, the Clintons' challenge is to convince Iowa's Democrats that experience doesn't mean more of the same. Which is why the campaign's out with a stark and sober new commercial to try to elevate the stakes of the election. The message about experience and change is you need one to produce the other.
How nice was it the last 2 days to have a break from all the candidates?
It was great. It was great. But Christmas is over and a final frenzied sprint is underway. While undecideds may have used the break to make up their minds, Clinton may have benefited less from that process than others.
I really feel like with Hillary, you either like her or you don't to begin with. And I don't know that if that's something that can be changed an awful lot.
One thing we don't expect to hear much from Hillary Clinton over the next 8 days is mentioning Barack Obama or John Edwards by name. As those two go after each other, she'll want to stay above the fray. Russ?
Jim Axelrod in Pella, Iowa, thank you. Now we want to go about 130 miles down the road to Dean Reynolds in Fort Dodge, who is covering the Obama campaign. Dean?
Good evening, Russ. Well, Senator Obama today dismissed a new poll that shows him well behind Senator Clinton and concentrated instead on giving his closing argument as effectively as he can.
How was Christmas?
At every turn, Obama reminded Iowans that it's time for them to make up their minds.
Don't let this opportunity slip away.
Obama's drawing power was undimmed by the two-day Christmas layoff. He turned empty halls into packed auditoriums and laid out his case for changing Washington while mocking his political rivals, who he says have picked up the same pitch.
Everybody now is talking about change. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, then we're doing pretty good here.
In Webster City, the call for change resonated with one prospective caucus goer.
It's time for a new look, a new way of doing things in Washington.
And in Mason City, Obama won the hearts and minds of at least two undecided women.
He touched something inside me. He touched a passion inside me.
To me, he just seems like the candidate that will bring change.
Change is more important than experience?
Yes.
Experience, of course, is Senator Clinton's calling card. But Obama derisively suggested what a vote for her would mean.
Even though you know what's been done in the past doesn't work, stick with it.
Obama also took a few shots at Senator John Edwards, mindful that Edwards has a history of a strong finishing kick that still has the potential to turn this race on its head. Russ?
Dean Reynolds in Fort Dodge tonight with the candidate speaking behind him. Thank you. John Edwards may be surging in Iowa, but that is not necessarily the case in New Hampshire. So today, he went on a 300-mile blitz in the Granite State. And that's how we open up tonight's CBS News Campaign 08 notebook.
How are you?
Edwards, how are you?
Great. Edwards went door to door in an attempt to make sure his campaign lives past the first week in January. Most polls put him a distant third in New Hampshire, behind Obama and Clinton.
I know now's crunch time. Now's when it matters.
On the Republican side, Rudy Giuliani, trailing badly in Iowa and New Hampshire, ignored them both today. He campaigned in Florida, a key state for him.
There's no one win that's essential. You asked me, is this really important? Of course it is.
And John McCain debuted a new ad in South Carolina, spotlighting his support for the Iraq war effort. Once seen as a liability, now he's trumpeting it.
We're Americans and we'll never surrender. They will.
Meanwhile, Fred Thompson is back on the campaign trail tonight in Creston, Iowa. Today, Mike Huckabee went hunting, but lately he's come under fire, especially from Mitt Romney. Jeff Greenfield is in Des Moines. Jeff, good evening.
Good evening, Russ. For Iowa Republicans, it might come down to this. Can the dark horse candidate who upended this contest survive an assault on his conservative credentials? Mike Huckabee was in Iowa hunting pheasants and votes. Seeking to keep the lead, he took away from Mitt Romney with a blend of personal charm and a strong appeal to evangelical conservatives.
I also said no to driver's licenses to illegals.
But he faces a media barrage from Romney and from some conservative activists on two hot-button issues.
Mitt Romney stood up.
First, immigration, where his past support for educational breaks for the children of illegal immigrants became the target of a Romney ad blitz.
Huckabee even supported taxpayer-funded scholarships for illegal aliens.
For his part, Huckabee now touts a tough line on enforcement.
Secure the border and do it now.
I feel that it affects a lot of people's pocketbooks and lives, and it's an important issue for Iowans.
Second, economic issues. As Arkansas governor, Huckabee cut some taxes but raised others for roads and schools. And he's a frequent enthusiastic critic of Wall Street greed. Some on the right are branding him a liberal.
Thanks so very much.
Apart from issues, the outcome here may hinge on whether a campaign has to spend money building an organization. Romney has.
But in Christ, it's not all up to us.
Huckabee, still short on cash, is outsourcing his effort to the evangelical community. It's a gamble that may well determine the outcome. Now, what would a Huckabee victory mean here? Well, with Romney and McCain battling in New Hampshire, with Fred Thompson looking to South Carolina, with Giuliani talking about a Florida firewall, it is possible that the Republican caucuses out here will settle nothing. Russ?
Jeff Greenfield in Des Moines. Thank you. In tonight's CBS News Money Watch, the second holiday shopping season began today, with an estimated 1 out of 5 consumers hitting the stores. Early estimates show spending from Thanksgiving to Christmas was up about 3.5% from last year. That compares to bigger increases of 6.6% in 2006 and nearly 9% in 2005. More on today's shopping from Michelle Miller.
At malls across the country, the day after Christmas can be as busy as Black Friday. Here at New Jersey's Short Hills Mall, shoppers will redeem $3 million in gift cards today.
Yeah, we had specific needs, which makes it easier when you battle the crowds like today.
The final week of December now accounts for 16% of all holiday sales, with shoppers expected to spend more than $58 billion before the new year. How much money are you looking to spend?
Christmas was good to me, so I got a nice little chunk of change in my pockets.
Retailers hope some of that money will be spent on clothes. Women's apparel was the biggest drag on the 2007 holiday season, down more than 2%. Blame the absence of a hot item on store shelves and more evidence of a cooling economy.
Energy, housing, gasoline prices being up 30% over a year ago. Difficult environment this year that we haven't had in the past 2 or 3 years.
But what you'll find on the racks this week won't be holiday leftovers. Many stores have stocked new items to entice gift card holders. And if that doesn't work, watch for the deepest discounts of the year. Macy's and Kohl's have already cut prices 50 to 70%.
The mid-tier retailers like Sears, Kohl's, and JCPenney had the most inventory coming into the holiday season, so we would expect to see even bigger discounts for the consumer post-Christmas.
Even high-end department stores like Neiman Marcus are featuring 30% markdowns. And on the other end of the spectrum, Walmart reported a glitch in its gift card verification system today, which caused some major delays. So Russ, it wasn't all smooth sailing.
Doesn't sound like it. Michelle Miller at the mall in New Jersey. Thanks. There is more CBS News ahead. Up next, serious concerns about a new drug. It may help you quit smoking, but is there a deadly risk? The FDA tonight is asking people who use a new anti-smoking drug to let them know if they have any thoughts of suicide or violence. The drug is called Chantix, and it is wildly popular. Sales have topped $600 million worldwide this year. It is hailed as an effective way to kick the smoking habit, which is linked to more than 400,000 deaths each year in this country. But at what cost? More now from Thalia Ashuris in tonight's Eye on Medicine.
33-year-old Amy Garza has smoked since she was 16, trying time and again to quit.
So I've tried the lozenges, I've tried just about anything and everything you could think of.
She thought she had found a wonder drug this fall, Chantix, the new anti-smoking pill prescribed by her doctor. Then,
both wrists or one? Just one.
Garza says she tried to kill herself.
It was like a psychotic breakdown that came out of nowhere.
Garza isn't the only one. The FDA is investigating about 100 cases of smokers who had suicidal thoughts after taking Chantix. Chantix went on the market in 2006. It's the only stop smoking product that blocks the nicotine receptors in the brain, preventing the buzz that comes from smoking and diminishing withdrawal symptoms. But nicotine withdrawal itself can change behavior. So is Chantix to blame for thoughts of suicide? Pfizer's chief medical officer says no.
That there's no scientific evidence establishing a causal relationship between Chantix and these reported events.
Discover prescription Chantix.
Among the 4 million Americans prescribed the drug, there are big fans. Take David Bowers, a 30-year smoker who went on Chantix after developing coronary artery disease.
For me, I thought it was a miracle drug.
Clinical studies show that a year after taking the drug, 23% were not smoking. On Zyban, the only other prescription pill available, only 15% succeeded. For now, the FDA says the benefits of quitting cigarettes far outweigh the possible risks of taking Chantix. But the agency is still warning that anyone who uses Chantix should be closely monitored. Thalia Assuras, CBS News, Washington.
We have a story of survival in the jungles of Panama tonight. Just one person survived when a small plane crashed over the weekend. A 12-year-old girl, Francesca Lewis from California, was safe. She was airlifted out today, reportedly with broken bones, but no life-threatening injuries. 3 other people were killed in the crash. We'll be right back. It has been another busy travel day with many heading home after Christmas. It was slow going in foggy Detroit, where United canceled flights for a 3rd straight day. Of course, travelers have other worries. In the first 9 months of this year, there were nearly 3.5 million reports of lost or mishandled baggage, an 18% increase. And some folks have decided they won't trust the airlines with their bags. Here's Sandra Hughes.
The Burns family of Yorba Linda, California, is packing up for a trip to the Big Apple, one of several vacations they've taken already this year.
The girls love to pack a lot, but they don't want to carry it.
And the family has learned some hard lessons about losing what they've packed, like Dad's trip last month to Pennsylvania.
He was having an asthma attack, and I asked him where his inhaler was, and he said it's in Florida.
So for this trip, they're bypassing the airline check-in process, using a company called Baggage Quest to pick up and ship their luggage ahead of time.
I'd rather pay the little extra money to ensure a good trip and an ease of trip.
Baggage Quest founder Dave Williams says 2 years ago when he started the business, he shipped 2,000 bags. This year, he'll ship 25,000.
In my opinion, the airlines are understaffed and overwhelmed with the work right now.
About a half a dozen companies now offer door-to-door luggage service, in addition to the option of using UPS or Federal Express. Cost depends on the company, luggage weight, destination, and shipping time. To ship a 20-pound bag from LA to New York City, expect to pay between $75 and $110 for a 3 to 5 day delivery. And to ship that same bag overnight, the cost could be double. The Burns say it's money well spent.
Yeah, it was great. It was worth it.
For hassle-free holiday travel. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Up next, for soldiers in Iraq, a slice of home for the holidays. Finally this evening, 184,000 servicemen and women are spending the holidays in Iraq and Afghanistan, far from family. But some are getting at least a taste of home. Bianca Solorzano reports.
A double fudge crunch cake and a tiramisu cake, my favorite.
Most people like cakes, but some people really love them.
A cake means love, that amazing sensation of when you eat it, feeling somebody's cared about you to be able to bake it for you.
Josh Kay owns an internet cake business, taking online orders for custom cakes for birthdays and holidays. The cakes are made here, but shipped all over. And we do mean all over.
I received a phone call from a mom who wanted to send her son a birthday cake in Iraq. I hung up the phone and I said, you know, what an amazing possibility that could be.
He was already donating cakes to the tune of $5,000 a year to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. He found the pipeline to the troops with the help of the military support group Soldiers Angels, which adopts service members stationed overseas.
The 2 weeks before he deployed, that was in my father's yard.
For as long as Vicky Spiso can remember, her 19-year-old son Brian Jr. wanted to be a soldier. He's been serving in Iraq since September.
If you were to make a cake for your son this holiday, what would it be?
Chocolate cake. He likes chocolate.
This was his first Christmas away from his family.
That's the hardest part. Not being able to talk to him every day or know that he's around. You know, it's constant worry.
But this holiday, Brian Jr. got his chocolate cake, double fudge crunch. His entire base got cakes too, more than 2 dozen to share, courtesy of Bake Me a Wish.
Thank you. They can all, you know, have cake together and
just give them a little bit of home for just the short period of time while they're eating their cakes.
This holiday season, some 2,000 cakes are being shipped to troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. But Kay has an even bigger wish for Bake Me a Wish.
Our goal is to send out a cake to every soldier stationed around the world on their birthday.
Kay's recipe of love in a box, providing a sweet slice of home for the holidays and every day. Bianca Solorzano, CBS News, Freeport, New York.
And that's the CBS Evening News. For Katie Couric, I'm Russ Mitchell. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com.